I hate feminism, right? I think it's pretty fucking obvious, but I just hate like the second and third wave of this shit and whatever the fuck, you know, passes for feminism today, which is over hate speech and, you know, uh, black female identity extremism and shit, okay? And I hate it. Fuck Bill Hooks and fuck Kimberly Crenshaw and fuck a bunch of people, Gloria Steinem and that black ass coon that that she got to front for her so she could get into the community to talk to you, infantilize goofballs and shit. A ton of you at that time were like, you know, expats from the deep south and shit with a shitty education, and even though you were afforded opportunity for education, you maintained a slave mentality and shit. You didn't see any use for your men and shit. You already felt that way before Gloria Steinem showed up and shit, okay? But she is responsible, and I feel like that's one of the reasons that, black people should get reparations. Like, that's just one of the many fucking reasons that we should get them reparations, man. I hate feminism. I hate hearing bitches talking about that feminist shit when they ain't never experienced it, especially young 20 somethings and shit that, even earlier, like they can't stand hearing it and shit because they have no goddamn life experience and shit. And all they do is talk about their box and, you know, gossip and, just trash and garbage and shit. And these are the people that expect us to, hand over our whole life and shit and forego our dreams and, give them a biological golden parachute for nothing and shit. So, widespread discord and, liability of their children and no fealty, no loyalty. They won't hold you down for nothing. You can give your life for them, give a right arm and a leg, and they want the rest, and they won't give you shit. Okay, I'm just tired of it. And when I think about feminism and the shit that they say and the spouse and shit, the Stockholm syndrome, the insanity, the rampant insanity, I want to tell all of those goddamn feminists and shit. I'll say, hey, we have some transports for you and shit. We will fly you to any, isolated location, any isolated location, any island or just some areas, where you don't have to see any men and give you all the materials and everything that you would need to make your own society and just leave you there. And then come back in about 40 plus years, however long it's been since, Steinem went into the black community and shit. And especially, like, separately for the black women. I would love to take all these black women, every last one of these motherfuckers that have this ideology, especially a lot of these Gen Z 20-somethings, way behind the ears, young, dumb, and full of what. Drop them in a remote area with all the shit they would need to build a society there. And then just come back in 30, 40 fucking years, like, don't help them after you drop them off there and give them all the shit they need. Just leave them there and come back and see if they're still there. It'd be a great test. Now put them on a biosphere. And that's kind of crazy, right? But like, I really hate that shit. And in this society, they call you a istophobe and a misogynist and all that shit. And whatever, it's starting to become a badge of honor when you consider their behavior and shit. And when I looked at those old clips of those women, those baby mamas talking about they didn't need a father in the house and shit, but they had a shitty expression. They should have been smiling. I'm like, hey, why you ain't happy, bitch? There ain't no dude there. The government did your job for you. They ran us out into the streets and shit, and they destabilized the home. Now you get to raise your children by yourself and shit. And you get to bring in a bunch of surrogates, who's not going to be there. They're just going to be there to sleep with you and give you more babies and shit that you can turn around and cash in for money and chips and shit. It was a it was a flesh for cash business and whatnot. You guys keep doing your original job while you were brought over here, sometime later after mostly black male slaves were in bondage and shit. And you guys were brought over here to be breed mares. Okay, you're the fucking breed mares. You slept with, you slept with all the guys they told you to. Sometimes your own fucking children to make these babies. And you were given a privileged lifestyle over the men and shit, okay? And I can say all this bullshit, and you don't have to believe it or nothing because you women, you goofy, retarded feminists and shit, with your own ideology, your Stockholm syndrome, you invert everything that we say, including the truth, and repurpose it so that you can keep doing the same thing over and over again ad nauseum. And then you're mad because nobody want to sit at the metaphorical red table and look across at your face while you spill your garbage and shit, while you frothing at the mouth, dying to be put down like old Yeller and shit. We don't want to see that. We don't want to participate in the shit. We don't want to fuck with you and shit. Okay, this ain't no hatred. This ain't colorism or nothing. You're insufferable. You are insufferable with shit. Okay, to the point of like almost it's extremism. Even other extremists. I've seen racist white people that were shocked by some of the things that were coming out of these women's mouths. Okay, every time I've looked at like one of these private chats or whatever, and I forgot the name of it. They have these little rooms where they can go in and chat and say all their hatred and shit and make plans to screw us over. Like they don't do that overtly and out in the open. They also do it clandestinely. I was watching one and I had some Caucasian extremists in there, and they left after 5 minutes of listening to the black women talking. They was like, "Hey, we don't need to say shit. They'll take care of it for us. And I can go back home and play with my fucking PlayStation 5 and shit and plot my next store shoot up." And those black women get on point. We recently saw a black woman try to set fire to Martin Luther King's childhood home, and she was handled with the kid gloves. She didn't have no black ass. She didn't have no boot up ass, no nothing. It made me ashamed of my ethnicity that she was arrested without incident. Okay, she should have been stomped the fuck out. Okay, she should have been beat up, man. She should have been rolled. She should have been rolled. I would roll her myself, theoretically speaking. Not to say metaphorically speaking and shit, because of YouTube's standards and practices, which inhibits me from being overtly emotional and shit. I have to go inside myself and channel my inner Leonard Nimoy to say that I think she deserved to get the boots put to her ass for doing something like that. They just have no filter. They're insufferable and shit. You don't want to share no roof with them. Don't be under a roof with their ass. Regular women are insufferable, but our sisters take it to a nuclear level, a toxically nuclear level and shit that makes me vomit all over myself and just shiver, and I want to hide in the closet or something under the bed because I have a son. I have a younger son, and I don't know what the fuck he's gonna be looking at when he grows up. He's probably gonna have to wear a flak jacket and shit and have a weapon a sidearm on him just to go to school. All right? I'm worried about my child. He's gonna be the one that's gonna be in the future and shit. I'm in my fucking 50s and it's 2024. These are things I have to think about and shit, but like I really wish you could just take all these goddamn I wish you could take away everything that a man contributed and let them build their own society. And I'd love to see what it would be. I wouldn't want to go visit it. I like to see it from a remote viewing or something, but I wouldn't want to be around these women. I don't think they should be able to, reproduce themselves. I don't think they should be able to reproduce themselves. I don't care who it is, how you identify or nothing. If you think one of these goddamn feminists, these retarded, misandrous, extremists, I think that you should be gone. You should be in your own sphere. Wouldn't that be nice? You would like just to see other people like yourself and nobody else. So what they talk about, some of these, these racists, they always talk about getting their own ethno state and shit. I support it. Like, hey, cool. Once you get the shit, don't bother us. Okay, we don't want to see it. Don't come over, don't spy on us, nothing. You stay in your shit, make the world that you want. Okay? And I feel that same way about these black women that always talk this shit about their men and hate us and talk about abort black babies and all this nonsense. It's just nonsense and garbage because, one moment they talking out one side of their neck about how they don't need us and they hate us and we're dusties and blah, blah, blah. And the next one, you get the sign language and we're running away, we're abandoning them. We're dating out and blah, blah, blah. But I want a white man and shit. I'm looking for a zaddy. I'm looking for my race play guy, It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. And I'm not thinking about this shit. I'm thinking about the other young men, black men, like straight up black men, that's going to have to, look at this shit. I'm like, it's bad. And now I'm 54 and it's 2024 and shit. And I'm just like, well, like, what's it going to be like in like 15 years from now? If we even still here, but not diminished enough where we're living on reservations. I don't foresee that, it'll be a lot of mixed race people and shit here. Maybe, a bunch of brothers will actually, take it serious about SYSBM and educate themselves and, make sure they have more than one career path and shit, and know at least two extra languages, and travel abroad and travel the world, and build families outside of this fishbowl. All right, there's nothing happening here. Okay, there ain't nothing gonna happen because the women that you're supposed to be with, the queens and all that bullshit. They're not interested in anything but their hair and nails and running their mouth and having Stockholm syndrome and talking shit nonstop and trying to beat your ass, and they got dick envy and shit, and they want to have a pissing contest with you, and they want to be more man than you and dunk on your ass and shit. Like, who needs that shit? You want to be happy. We want to be happy. We don't want to have spiritual warfare and physical warfare and verbal, bullshit, and listen to your rhetoric about how you feel oppressed because you can't just, abuse other people and shit, and you won't let you. So you're gonna act like assholes until somebody puts you down and shit, Okay, or until you can get some other black man who, misraised, miseducated black idiot to throw his life away in your cause, which is nothing and shit. You don't stand for nothing. Look at our communities and shit. And look at the majority of you just doing your own thing while this thing going in the shithole, and then you look in the mirror at yourself and hate what you see, and then you just keep lying. Alright? This has been a straight talk, a raw talk. Recently, a little while ago, I just, put my kid to bed and everything, and I was looking at him and I was thinking, I'm like, what is he going to be seeing when he's older and shit? Now, I want my kid to be a fucking Chad, man. I'll buy him a gun on his 18th birthday and a passport. Just in case, I have it covered. I don't know what to say. I know one thing, though. I am fucking tired of listening to this bullshit, and I'm going to keep making these goddamn videos.
The Black Patriarchy. A non-existent group of fictional black male power brokers not discredited, erroneously jailed or outright killed by the minority majority who look the other way as they work tirelessly to shame, oppress, and outright take out the altruistic black female populace of the honorable democratic United States of America. 3K's inset bitches. These evil wealthy members of the black patriarchy are the sole reason for all the ills of the black community, walking, talking, holding down jobs, and doing everything up to and including giving their very lives in service to their baby mamas and baby's motherfucking kids. Their motto that strikes fear into the hearts of black women everywhere: bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.